23rd Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Taoreed Lagbaja. We understand that the body has just touched the ground. There are the Murtala Mohammed International Airport, Abuja. A little earlier, we spoke with our correspondent, senior reporter Sifon Essien, who walked us through how the funeral rite is expected to be undertaken. He left Lagos just a few moments ago, where the body of the late Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Taoreed Lagbaja, arrived at the Nigerian Air Force wing of the Murtala Mohammed International Airport in Lagos. And then the body at the time was received by the soldiers of the Guards Brigade, who was set to pay their last respects to him. But right there, we can see the plane taxiing towards where the Guard of Honor is actually standing to receive the body of the late Chief of Army Staff. And from there, it will be taken through the red carpet, where the body would then be conveyed in a hearse for a service of song, which is expected to be undertaken or to be taken later today. His body upon arrival definitely...
C-1 Hercules aircraft operated by the Nigerian Air Force has touched down the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport and is now taxiing to the presidential wing. The plane is carrying the corpse of the Chief of Army Staff, that's the former Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Taoreed Lagbaja. There you have it, the C-130 Hercules aircraft conveying the remains of the former Chief of Army Staff is grinding to a halt at the presidential wing of the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport. Senior officers and a Guard of Honor are on hand to receive the remains of the former Chief of Army Staff, where he would be conveyed into a hearse and taken out of this location to another location in continuation of ceremonies that will culminate in the interment at the National Military Cemetery.
Because the plane just landed. What is Alright, okay. So how do I want to comment on this thing now?
It's 5 sequence.
Center of the corpse to the hospital. So as the convoy line up, I beg gonna go take a
Mount.
As they depart this place.
Where they go? Where will they depart? Where?
Here. You will see the convoy go form up. So just cover the convoy.
Last respect.
we on?
May I inform? Established the 1st October 2004.
That entrance there.
The 170 special copies that occurred.
There you have live pictures right there from the presidential wing of the Murtala Mohammed International Airport, where the body, Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport, I should say, right there in Abuja. It is quite a somber moment. There are the Murtala Mohammed International Airport in Abuja, where a guard of honor is definitely receiving the body of the Chief of Army Staff, marking the commencement of the funeral rites for the 23rd of the Chief of Army Staff.
The C-130 Hercules aircraft of the Nigerian Air Force is targeted to a stop, and now the remains of the former Chief of Army Staff will be taken out of the aircraft, and a trolley would, be used to convey the remains to the hearse standing by, and the hearse would be led by a convoy of the acting Chief of Army Staff to a medical facility in continuation of ceremonies, of the funeral ceremonies. And there you have it, the casket bearing the body or the remains of the former Chief of Army Staff has just been placed on a trolley, and it will be wheeled down to a guard of honor, where he would be saluted and given utmost respect in accordance with military tradition. Behind the pictures you're watching is the Chief or the Acting Chief of Army Staff and very senior officers of the Nigerian Armed Forces, who are on hand to pay their last respects to the departed Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Taoreed Lagbaja. This is the second leg of the ceremony that started in Lagos, where this aircraft conveyed the remains from the Murtala Mohammed International Airport now to the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport, the presidential wing, where senior officers and a guard of honor are on hand to pay their last respects to the departed Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Taoreed Lagbaja. It's a somber mood here at the presidential wing of the airport, where senior military officers and other ranks are on hand to pay their last respects to the departed Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Taoreed Lagbaja, whose remains are now being trolleyed to waiting hearse, and it would be conveyed to a medical facility where we were told, where the corpse will be kept until a service of songs that will hold at the Mogadishu Cantonment, popularly called the Abacha Barracks in the metropolis of Abuja, and that ceremony will be tomorrow, Friday, and later on there would be an interment at the National Military Cemetery, and that will be the grand finale of the funeral of the departed Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Taoreed Lagbaja. Pallbearers escorting the remains of Lieutenant General Taoreed Lagbaja on a trolley along the apron of the presidential wing of the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport. As I said earlier, it's a somber mood for the senior officers and indeed other members of the Nigerian Armed Forces at this moment. For some, seeing their former boss, now the remains in a casket, triggers emotions, but as military officers we gather that those emotions are not to be manifest. We gather that the pallbearers will continue escorting the casket that is being trolleyed down what they've created as an aisle with senior officers on either side.
About for quite a while, the man who is being honored by a lot of people around the world.
The casket is draped in the Nigerian national color, green and white. From one set of pallbearers to another set. This time, the officers are of the rank of major generals and its equivalents in the Air Force and the Navy. This will mark the second leg of the corpse being conveyed on the apron of the presidential wing of the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport.
Commander, Captain Musa, called Procession, remains dearly departed Chief of Army Staff makes his way gradually to take of this mark of honor. The leading front area that is guard of honor mounted by troops thus the Nigerian army.
Quick march. This part of the parade, all of you should excuse us. Take a good position. Just move back and take a good position.
National salute is being rounded up.
It's now time for the national salute and the national anthem.
He did mention this ceremony is a very solemn ceremony. All bearers moving the remains of our dearly departed chief of army I did mention earlier that this solemn guard of honor ceremony is being streamed live on several media platforms, including Arise Television, Channels Television, Television Continental, several other channels.
Yes, sir.
Equally streamed on Nigerian Army platforms. You may do well to join us in this solemn ceremony.
Senior officers of the rank of Major General, Air Vice Marshal, and Rear Admiral are now the pallbearers
leading a procession,
wheeling the remains in a casket to a waiting hearse.
Lieutenant General Taoreed Lagbaja, Nigerian Army Bid. May I inform that our dearly departed Chief of Army Staff was appointed Chief of Army Staff in June 2023 and has held the appointment of Chief of Army Staff for a total of 1 year and 4 months in the Nigerian Army, and have several honors across various theaters of operation. Our dearly departed Chief of Army Staff, an esteemed infantry general of exceptional qualities, renowned for his unwavering patriotism and love for country, has given his all. He brought honor to the Nigerian Army across numerous theaters of operation. It is said, every soul must taste the death, and one day return to its spiritual. Today, our revered late Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Lagbaja passed away now, raising all brother. It's okay, yes, take it. It's very heavy hand. We pay our last respects to gallant professional soldier, gentleman senior officer for excellence, in very active service, father.
Behind the pallbearers is the Acting Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Olufemi Oluyede.
At the service of songs in honor of our dearly departed Chief of Army Staff. Will be taking place at about 1700 Army Headquarters, Garrison Parade Ground, Mogadishu Cantonment. Please do well to join us for that solemn
such a pedigree, one that has been respected over the years. He has the respect and love.
Service of songs will take place later today at the Mogadishu Cantonment in honor of the departed Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Taoreed Lagbaja. Then on Friday there will be a funeral service at the National Christian Center, which will pave the way for the interment at the National Military Cemetery.
The Acting Chief of Army Staff, the Chief Moment, Principal Staff Officers, Defense Services Headquarters, Corps Commanders, General Officers
having very big shoes
very senior
to fill,
officers,
and I think that is something that's not lost.
pay their last respects, begin to pay their last respects at this guard
Sort
of
of man
honor
is going to be
ceremony
replacing, and it is a very
mounted
solemn,
the
important
troops,
moment in Nigeria's
Guards Brigade
military
Nigerian
history.
Army.
And there we have it. Celebrations
Several of us
and the commemorations will continue
are
this evening.
Well,
Right now, the Army Command and Lawa Hospital in Abuja are the ones who
You're still live.
Go ahead, so that once they are moving fully, let's go ahead now.
You're still live for you.
Let me fold this. Let's go ahead. This one we take out.
A convoy led by the Acting Chief of Army Staff will lead the hearse to the mortuary.
He said this one? Yes. Go this one. Oh, yeah, enter. No, that one carry. Don't come to my front door.
There you have it, the remains of the It's a somber mood for senior officers and other members of the armed forces here at the apron of the presidential wing of the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport here in Abuja.
The remains of our beloved departed Chief of Army Staff gradually make its way to town in a motorcade. Make its way to town in a motorcade.
There you have it. We've been seeing the video of live pictures from the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport in Abuja, where the body of the former Chief of Army Staff arrived there in the Air Force jet, the Nigerian Air Force 918 aircraft, which actually, after landing, taxied towards the red carpet, which was laid to move the remains of the late Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Taoreed Lagbaja. It was moved, by the senior military officials who were there. At least I could recognize the acting Chief of Army Staff, Olufemi Oluyede, who also was there to pay his last respect. Then escorting the body, the remains, towards the Nigerian Army's ambulance, and then there we understand that the body will be moved to the mortuary, where afterwards we'll be getting information about what will come next. But what we know so far is that the body left Lagos earlier this morning, at the Murtala Mohammed International Airport, and then landed at the Nnamdi Azikiwe, the presidential wing of the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport, where the body moved through the apron and then all through what we've seen so far. We have our correspondent, senior reporter, Sifon Ajead, who is joining me again. Sifon is quite a somber mode, and it's something that we don't get to see, every now and then. Walk us through what we've seen so far, and what more do we expect afterwards? Sifon, if you can hear me, let me quickly establish if you can hear me, Sifon.
It's pretty difficult hearing at this time, but Well, the live pictures you just saw earlier, showing the acting chief of army staff leading a motorcade, including a hearse carrying the caskets of the remains of the former chief of army staff, Lieutenant General Taoreed Lagbaja, out of the apron of the presidential wing of the Nnamdi Azikiwe Airport. They're now proceeding to a mortuary. As I mentioned earlier, in the course of running a commentary, there will be a service of songs later today in honor of the departed chief of army staff. It's a somber mood here, and senior officers have paid their respect and will yet pay their respect as the ceremony progresses. It will culminate in the interment at the National Military Cemetery, and that will be tomorrow in the evening.
As we see now, is it that the soldiers who are actually there on the tarmac, are they also leaving now? When they leave, what would they be, are they reconvening somewhere else, or they're just dispersing?
Again, Ibrahim, it's pretty difficult hearing you considering the level of sounds we're getting from the band of the Nigerian Army Guards Brigade. But if you're asking if all is set for the next leg of this ceremony, yes, all is set. We've been to the Mogadishu Cantonment, venue of the service of songs, and then to the National Christian Center, where a funeral service will be held in honor of the departed chief of army staff. So the service, and indeed the armed forces and its members, are ready to pay their last respect to one who led the Nigerian Army for a period of about 1 year. He was the 23rd chief of army staff.
All right, senior reporter Sifon Essien, thank you so much for bringing us up to speed with happenings there at the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport. We'll definitely keep close tabs with you on this, to get more information as they continue to unfold. Thank you, Sifon Essien. With that, that's what we have for you on the midday news. At the top of the hour, definitely will bring you more updates and monitoring trends from Abuja, and then in Ondo State, where election is also set to take place. Many thanks for watching. Bye for now.